Fix my credit. I'm gonna buy that brand new home. Fix my credit. I'm gonna pay off my student loan. Fix my credit. No more paying my bills late. Fix my credit. I need a better interest rate. Fix my credit. Bad credit is gone way too far. Fix my credit. I need a brand new car. Fix my credit. Hold on, don't give in. Fix my credit. Hey, in the end, you're gonna win. Fix my credit. Gonna buy that brand new home. Fix my credit. Gonna pay out my student loan. Fix my credit. No more paying my bills late. Fix my credit. I need a better interest rate. Fix my credit. Hey, my credit is going way too far. Fix my credit.
Welcome. This is your boy, the credit expert, the credit guru. This is Casasolo James coming live tonight, and we're going to have a great time. This is the live credit show on Tuesday nights. I know it's been a minute since I've been here, so welcome to everybody that's coming in now. I know the alerts and all of that stuff is going out. What's up, Craig? What's going on? How you doing? I'm doing well. What's going on? There she goes. Sheila, what's going on? Thank you. I said, I guess I better come back. Everybody's missing me, so I guess I better come back. So thank you so much. We are live on YouTube and we're live on Facebook, all right? And we're asking if you are on YouTube, and y'all know what to do. If you're on YouTube, wonderful, Craig. If you're on YouTube, just simply type in Exceptional Credit Repair LLC, Exceptional Credit Repair LLC, and then it'll come right up. You want to subscribe and you want to hit the red button. That's the subscribe button. And then you want to hit the bell. A lot of people are missing it because they don't hit the notification bell. All right. So you want to hit the notification bell. And so that'll keep up with the alerts and all of that. But it's going to be an amazing show. My guest is backstage, so I can't wait to bring him out. He's hilarious. And so I'm going to introduce him in a few minutes. But thank you so much for all the prayers. My grandmother did pass last week. And so it's just been one thing after another. And, you know, not too long ago, I had to go to Florida, Miami, and bury my dad on that side. So it was just one thing after another. But I'm here, and I got, I think, 2 or 3 big announcements tonight. I'm super excited about that. So it's good to see everybody. So tell your friends, share it. They told me to say that. So share it, especially if you're on Facebook and also if you're on other social media platforms. If you are on Instagram, I know that's for the young folks and all of that good stuff, but it's for everybody, I guess. But if you're on Instagram, all you have to do is just type in EC Repair Now. Where is it? Just EC Repair Now. If you type this in on Instagram, then you can follow me and I'll follow you back and all that good stuff. All right. So thank you so much for all your support. Now, let me say this, because everybody's asking about this, the 175. That is only on Tuesday. Only on Tuesday. So you can get a major discount. The normal price is $300 and it's up in the corner over here, over there. You can see it on the screen. So, so it's $175 and that's on Tuesday night. So that is for 30 days. Let me break that down. That is 30 days increment. So what I do is that $175, anything that is incorrect, anything if it's a collection, even if you have other derogatory items there, closed accounts and different things of that nature, anything that's negative and that needs to be removed, then we'll go together. I'll analyze your credit report and then I'll list that on your disputing letters. All right. So that is only for 30 days. All right. And if you need any additional months, it's going to be another $175. All right. So this will change your life forever. So I don't negotiate with the price. I don't do discounts. I don't do payment arrangements because that's what has got many of you in trouble anyway. All right. I don't do the $5 hookup because this is a hookup. All right. The service that I provide is a professional service and it is credit restoration. All right. It is not hook a brother up, hook a sister up. That is not what I do. All right. You want it done the right way and the legal way. So once it is off, it'll stay off because sometimes they do sell it to other collection agencies and they try to re-put it up there, or they try to cook up some new type of scheme and they try to, reword it or whatever the case may be. But when you're talking about debt validation and you're talking about the Fair Credit Reporting Act, all of those things, even if you don't know, I know it. All right. So you want to hire the expert and let the expert be the expert. All right. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you, Craig. I appreciate that. So it's going to be an amazing show. I want to jump right in. I don't want to be long tonight. I know you haven't seen me in a long time, but you will. My schedule is kind of getting back to normal, and it's going to be a little bit more bumpy towards the end of the year anyway. I'm still doing the Cooking and Credit show, so that's going to be back. I'm trying to do that maybe before November. I don't want to really do it too much in November because, that's Thanksgiving. But the Cooking and Credit show is still alive and well. So I'm going to bring that back. I want to have some other guests. But, this pandemic stuff, the numbers are starting to spike again. So we got to be very careful. All right. So we're going to continue to do the virtual stuff and continue to wash your hands. I've always washed my hands. You nasty people is the ones that didn't wash your hands. You need to wash your hands. All right. So make sure that you're clean. Don't be sneezing on people. Don't be around people and just take for granted that they got the vaccination. It is your choice. Nobody can make you get it, but you want to do what you have to do in order to make sure you save yourself, especially if you're in a certain age group like me. All right. So at the end of the day, you want to make sure you protect yourself. But tonight's topic, and I'm going to talk about some stuff when I bring my guests out as well. But tonight's topic is how to boost your score with credit cards. Most people think they understand about how credit card works, and they feel like the fundamental rule is I got approved for a credit card, and if they give me 500 plus, man, that means spend, and never pay the bill. That's literally what a lot of people do, and that's not the purpose of credit cards. If you need a credit card to pay your car insurance, and you need a credit card to pay your light bill, you're already in trouble. That's not the purpose of credit cards, all right? Credit cards are made for you to use them, but you do have to pay for what you use, because after all, if you went to the mall and you had $500 on the credit card and you bought a pair of jeans or bought whatever you bought, that item went home with you. So you can't get mad at the credit card company if you don't pay them. All right. So I want to wash all of that out and tell you the proper way to use the credit card so you can boost your credit score. All right. So my guest is Brandon Ellis. He's a famous dancer. He's a New Yorker. He's a city man. He's a man that we have a lot of fun together. I've known him a short period of time, but it feels like we've been knowing each other a long period of time. But he has worked, he's been in movies and films, and he knows, we were talking one night and he was telling me about Vanessa Williams and all of that stuff. So he's the man. He's now has become one of my clients. And I just wanted him to come on because I was talking about credit cards tonight. So I wanted him to come on. What's going on, Lisa? What's going on? I was waiting for your sister. So I wanted him to come on and give his perspective about, what he thought before he hooked up with my company, Exceptional Credit, and about, we can't tell it all, but at the end of the day, I want him to give his perspective about how he thought credit card works. Okay. So at the end of the day, what's going on? Praise him. There goes my sugar right there. Jocelyn, praise him. All right. So Dr. Franks is in the house. What's going on, Mud, what's going on? All right, everybody come. Mr. Lamar, what's going on? I knew you was coming. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming in, and continue to share, let the word out. You don't want to miss this segment on tonight. But without further ado, let's bring up my guest and bring him in on live with us tonight. His name is Brandon Ellis. He is the maestro when it comes down to the orchestrate. I love theater and dance and all of that stuff. And that's what he's done for many, many years. And I respect that type of genre. All right. So without further ado, here's Mr. Brandon Ellis.
Hey. Hi, Casacello. How are you?
Welcome. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm blessed and truly highly favored.
Well, good. How are you coping in the pandemic and all of that good stuff? How is it going?
What's really been amazing, thanks be to God, is that I've worked straight through the pandemic nonstop.
Oh, me too.
Via virtual as well as in person, and just trying to stay as safe as possible. I am vaccinated.
Oh, wonderful. Me too.
I'm Pfizer vaccinated. Yes. Hello, Credit Land people. How are you?
What's up, David? What's up, Shasta? What's up, Gayla? What's up, everybody? This is our special guest, Mr. Brandon. So you made it through you are vaccinated, so am I, which I'm glad about that. And it was our choice, of course. Absolutely. And so you've been working through the pandemic. But tell us a little bit about you. I want you to tell the people, can't tell it all, as I said, but tell us a little bit about your background as far as dance and all of that, because I know you teach and you instruct and you've been in movies and all of that stuff, because you did something big here in Atlanta not too long ago as well.
That's correct. So thank you for the introduction. Before I get started, though, I definitely want to send you my condolences.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. You know how much I admire you and adore you and respect you as another brother doing the right thing for the right reasons. For me, I started dancing at age 7. I started getting paid at age 15. I started touring at 21 for Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater from Manhattan, New York. Ooh. And then from there, I was invited to tour with 2 other major Black modern dance companies, Dayton Contemporary Dance Company, Philadanco. Then I slowly segued into musical theater, which was one of my first original loves, acting and music from a child, because I used to go to Howard University Children's Workshop on Saturdays when all other kids were on the playground. So I'd be like, deuces, I'm going to get my acting and my singing and dancing on.
Right.
And they'd be like, where do you go every Saturday? And that was one of my safe places to kind of grow and hide. But with all that being said, I've also recently was in a film with Trina Braxton here in Atlanta called Sisters.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, please go on Roku channel, Sister Sis TV, or Amazon Prime and start watching part 1 and 2. I'm in part 2, Sisters and the Shrink.
Oh, okay. And it's called, what's the name of the film again?
The name of the film is called Sisters and the Shrink.
Oh, and the Shrink. Okay, with Trina Braxton. I love Trina.
And it's pretty much about just regular real life sisters going through their struggles and going to the shrink, and they have different stories and different trials and tribulations. It is a dramedy. It's a soap opera dramedy.
Okay.
And of course, this role was written for me, so I pretty much play myself with a little extra spice and sprinkles that I become obsessed with the shrink, and I'm just gonna leave the rest up to you.
Okay, then we'll watch the rest.
Yeah, and we're currently filming part 3 here in Atlanta as well, and we need background actors. We always need background actors and extras, and Trina's also in that, and she's hilarious and so much fun and such a humble spirit and talent and mogul. You know, she's very much an entrepreneur.
Shout out to Trina Braxton. Shout out to Trina Braxton. I love Trina. Trina is a good person. I can really tell. She's a good
Absolutely.
person.
And so with all that being said, though, what really drew me to your credit repair service
Yes.
was that all my years of being a performing artist, gypsy, living in Ohio, living in Philadelphia, born in Queens, raised in Maryland. Now I live here in Stone Mountain, Atlanta.
Right.
I mean, like, I have lived and lived and lived and traveled. And
Yes.
I never really had that feeling of financial security and stability. I was always living check to check. And, I kept money coming in and multiple streams of income, but I was unmanageable.
Mm-hmm.
That was the problem. And I was the last person to know that I was unmanageable because I thought I could handle it like I handled my career. I was good at what I was good at, and I was smart at what I was smart at in terms of my career.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as finances, that's a whole different world. And it's a whole different approach and protocol. And it requires a lot of inside loopholes, and you have all the answers. And I just feel so secure working with you. So if you're on this line, please sign up now. Sign up with Costello. You will not regret it, but you must be willing to listen.
Yes.
Follow his instruction. And also, I encourage you to ask yourself, why now is my credit important to me? Why now do I seek outside professional special help with my credit? Because if you get that clear, then you'll understand your role and your responsibility in maintaining it. And
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you're going to do what you've always done and get what you always got, which is further in debt.
Correct. And that's so important. And that's the reason why I wanted you to come on the show tonight, because you're doing so well. You do listen. And that's one of the major things with me, because I'm a very dominant businessman. And what I mean by that, I mean what I say. I don't do this because I don't have anything else to do on Tuesday nights. I only do this because it's in me to help people. And that's one of my gifts to help people, to educate people when it comes down to credit, finances, and different things of that nature, because it is catastrophic when you go to apply for something, or you're trying to buy a home, or you're trying to get a car, and all of a sudden you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, and you got to take a 22% interest rate versus had you fixed your credit, or get your mind right. The first thing, getting your mind and your spirit right. But if you fix that credit, then you went from a 22% interest rate down to a 4% interest rate, or a 10% interest rate. It makes a big difference, because people say, well, hey, I was still getting stuff with bad credit, but you overpaid. That's the biggest thing. You overpaid. It's a difference between $12,000 and then they doubled that interest rate, and now you're paying $36,000, for a car that's not even worth that when you try to get rid of it. So I love that what you just said about how you live from place to place and different things of that nature. Let me ask you this. So you have traveled whole lot more than I have. So when you traveled in these different places, and I admire people that have lived different other places. I've lived certain places. But when you were on your journey and now in movies and now you've always danced and stuff of that nature, were you just used to paying cash for everything, or you just said, well, I can't deal with the credit card industry or whatever? So what did you do? You just paid cash for everything?
Well, I'm chuckling over here because I'm thinking about my little world of what I considered being manageable with my money, which was totally the opposite. Believe it or not, at one point, I was receiving secure credit cards. I was being approved. I may have owned maybe 3 at a time.
Okay.
And I rotated them in a very non-productive way. I made it mean. See, that's why I ask people I encourage you to ask yourself, well, why now? And what is it? What do you want to get out of your credit repair? What are you looking to seek? Because I had such a habitual habit of just using my credit card when I didn't have any more cash, and all my other cards were used up. And then I would end up maxing it out because I would wait to a big emergency, but the emergency was bigger than my credit balance.
Right.
And I would just go crazy. And then I had all these distorted myths these myths in my head about, oh, only pay the minimum, or oh, pay the double the minimum, or all these different Susie Orman, Oprah things that were said in passing. And it wasn't until I got with you that I understood the do's and don'ts. And so I actually had it, and I thought that I knew what I was doing with it. And then I had that whole attitude that you speak of when you were signing me up. I didn't forget our conversation.
Right.
You said, don't get a notion to take off and run to Paris or go on a shopping spree because you think you deserve it, because your credit line is going to climb as long as you're with me and you follow my instructions.
Correct.
And I plan to, because my way didn't work.
Right.
I surrender. I don't have a problem with surrendering to win. And in order to gain knowledge and get the proper credit score that I know I deserve and want. Not 5-something. That 5-something was killing me.
Absolutely. What? And something you just said something which is very, very powerful. You just said something. We didn't script this in or talk about this before the show, but you must surrender to win. That is very, very powerful. If you do not surrender, it don't mean that you're not the boss. It doesn't mean that the credit report is not yours. Doesn't mean yada, 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 whoop-de-whoop, that the car isn't yours. It means the way that he was doing it, the way that I did it 30 years ago, it was mediocre, but I was in a position I didn't have any credit. So not having credit was just like bad credit, because in the hair industry, I was getting cash, especially back in the 80s. I was getting cash and cash and cash. So credit really wasn't a big thing for me because I could get away with it. I could go to the car lot and drop $2,000 or drop $3,000 and come out with me a Benz, or come out with me a nice car, come out with me a Grand Am. They were making Grand Ams at the time and Geo Prisms and stuff. So you got to surrender. A lot of times, you've heard me say this many times, a lot of times I don't like to go back and forth with people. Yeah, like that song, I ain't going back and forth with you. So I'm not going back and forth with a person when their way did not work for them. So obviously you have to try a different method. If the paprika was too much in the macaroni, then lighten it up. You're gonna have to do something different. So for me, I love that what you just said about surrendering to win is because when you came to me, you was ready. You was like, I need help. What do I need to do?
I got to my wit's end. You just said a lot. You just reminded me that I'm also a licensed cosmetologist. And so that's what we also have in common. And as a result, I had that mentality of I always have cash. What do I need a credit card for? Then I don't drive. So I used to use the excuse, I don't need no car. I don't drive. But what about a house? I don't own a house. What about anything else in society? They look at our credit and they determine whether they want to even let us in a certain category.
Absolutely.
Or give us the privy to certain items and things of that nature. And so that definitely played a part of me. And I guess I'm at the age of, 51. I'll be 52, darling.
We in that group. Yes, it's good.
So I realized, hey, if I want a little something, I want to be able to say, if I want to get something done, whether it's cosmetically, whether it's diamonds, whether it's a gift to a friend, myself, I don't want to have to worry about my credit. Yes, Sheila Dobbin, I see you, girl. Surrender.
Oh, she's a bad mama jammer. I knew she would go catch that. You got to surrender. That's the word for tonight. Surrender to win. Surrender. Now listen, that don't mean surrender to no jive turkey, and that don't mean to go out and get a broke man or get a broke sister, and you got, you building your credit, and then they say, well, you know what, my tires are going bad on my car, and can you just put it on the credit card, and I'll pay you back. That never works. It never works. It never works. I'm telling you.
And what else doesn't work, Casacello, is I'm gonna take it a little step further. Now, two partners of any kind, whoever you are out there,
right?
One partner got good credit, the other one it's not gonna work because they are going to have a resentment. One is going to have resentment that one has better credit. The other one's going to have resentment because you don't have good credit.
Well, it's like a seesaw. If both of you are up at the same time, that's wonderful. but sometimes in a bad way, it's like a seesaw. One is up and the other one is down. But my particular perspective about credit and finances, my company, we do personal credit, that's your personal credit, and I do business credit. But when we're talking about you, and I'm glad that you're here, about your personal credit, understanding a better method, understanding a better way to deal with credit cards, and understanding how they work. And so that's what the topic is about, boosting the credit score with your credit card. You needed a brand new credit card. We can tell this much. You needed a brand new credit card right now. And so the questions that you was asking me, we discussed that. And I said, well, this is what I suggest. Never tell anybody what to do. I said, but I suggest that we go to this particular company so we can get you this particular credit card. And you listen to that and you got it.
Praise God. And here's the hit. You don't go to the dentist if you need your feet fixed.
Absolutely.
You go to a credit specialist that you trust,
right?
That is respectable, that knows more than you think you know.
Correct.
More than you think you know.
My God, because I get those crazy cockaburs and they try to out-talk me. And I was like, you know what? I'm out.
Yeah. And that's as simple as that. You can't tell the help how to help you.
Right.
If you can tell the help how to help you, you didn't need them in the first place. Don't try to out-talk them. Listen. Do the best. My advice is do your best to discipline yourself and challenge yourself to become a new version of yourself in the credit world, and think about the unlimited God-given possibilities with good credit. You know, it just speaks.
It's a whole new world.
You can rub elbows with the ones that you've been trying to rub elbows with for a long time, but your credit wasn't right, so you was rubbing them with McDonald's.
Well, this is the thing, and we're gonna talk about we're gonna boost the credit, and I'm gonna show you exactly how this quick. But I like what Dr. Betty Franks just said, this say no. And I used to have a saying, get away from me. Get away. Because at the end of the day, when people know that you're doing good and you're a giver, let's put it like that. You're a giver, and you know, they feel like, okay, I already know I'm not gonna call her because I'm not gonna call him. I can't call him, can't call her, because you already know they're gonna say no. So let me go call Daddy Casacello, let me call Mr. Brandon and see if they'll loan me $200. Some days that's okay. Some days that's okay. We don't mind helping, but it's better if you know how to fish yourself than me going every day to fish for you. That's simple, but it's powerful. And at the end of the day, if you're dealing with a partner or your husband, your wife, whomever, and both of you all have excellent credit, that means you're a power couple. You're a power couple.
That's what I'm talking about.
Whenever you get ready to make money moves, as that rapper says, money moves and stuff.
Come on, Cardi B.
Yeah, Cardi B, help me out, man. So once you make money moves, what happens is you don't have to worry about somebody holding, I did this for you and I did that for you, and you know, 2 years ago, this, that, and other. Because people they'll hang it over your head.
They'll do that carrot.
And I'm gonna tell you another thing is too, the reason why you have to be successful, you're in movies, you've been around so many, you know, celebrities, you're a celebrity, you know, it's not that we call them celebrities and different things of that nature, but we all are celebrities in our own right. And so when you have been, you know, the places that you have been and been in incredible movies, stuff you can see on Roku and all of that stuff right now, you know, you cannot live a mediocre life. Because, you know, you're going to have to go out to dinner. You're going to have a wardrobe change. You're going to have some stuff. You got to have backup. That's why I believe in AAA.
Come on, AAA.
Let me tell you something. I believe in AAA. I'm not pushing no car. AAA about to tow this car. So at the end of the day, you got to have some backup. And I'm going to tell you another thing is too, you better have some people in your corner, whether it's one or two people in your corner that if they make it, they're going to make sure you make it.
They're going to throw you a rope. At least throw the rope. And I always try to remember that no matter how far God takes me, throw the rope back. And if they don't catch it, that's on them. And I've thrown it back to many people, and I'm still throwing it back. And I hope and pray that, you know, they latch on and
You threw the rope, in the earlier part of the show because you said, hey, they're going to do the next part here in Atlanta. That's throwing the rope. That's another good saying. Throw back the rope, throw it. It's like we say in the Pentecostal church, old sanctified church, throw out the lifeline. Ooh. So it's like a life preserver. That's what it is. It's literally a life preserver.
Come on now.
So for me, how to boost your credit. So here's the thing. Let's just say you have 2 collections. This is how we're going to boost your credit. And the same thing I was sharing with him. If you have 2 collections and you have minimum student loans, you already got your car payment, you still owe $16,000 or $17,000. And you got 1 credit card, but that credit card is maxed out. Let's just say it's a $500 limit. If the card is maxed out, I guarantee you 30, 40, maybe even 60 points is locked up in that 1 credit card. So in order to boost your credit with that credit card, what should you do? Pay it off.
Pay it off and pay on time your balance. Don't go over your limit and pay before your due date. Don't pay on your due date. Pay the entire balance off. And don't use up all your credit. Use it very, very lightly.
So how much should we use? 10%. Now, this is what I've been waiting to say all day. The only utilization for my company is 10%. I do not believe, and you can spread this around the country, I do not believe in that 30% rule. I don't like that rule. I hate that rule.
Get it, you said
I hate it.
Spread it around the country.
Spread it around the country. The 30% rule is not good. And some people are gonna say, well, you was taught wrong. Because if that 30 is too close to 40, 40 is too close to 50. And when you play it to the edge, then you lose a lot of points. And hear me good. You get a lot more open and active points when you have low balance and a 0 balance. I'm gonna say it one more time. This is how you boost your score with credit cards, because FICO knows that if you are not an on-time bill payer, they know if you get the credit card, they're going to give you less points because they know you have high balances. When you have high balances, you are considered a high risk. Period, boo. So when you have low balance or 0 balance, you consider a low risk. And so the purpose of credit cards, because I can hear somebody saying now, so we ain't supposed to use our credit cards. I didn't say that. What I'm saying is you got to pay for what you spend. Whatever you buy, whatever you purchase, you have to pay for it. And you need that balance to be 0, or you need it to be under 10%. And you need, as Brandon just said, you need to pay it before. If your due date is the 15th, and now you decide to pay it on the 20th, you screwed. Because not only did they charge you interest, but now they're going to tack on a $36 late payment. So they don't want you to pay it. They hoping you don't pay it so they can make more money off of you. They don't get money off
points too, right?
And less points. Yep, less points. If you don't get anything tonight, you can boost your score right now before August comes in here. Whatever your reporting date is, the reporting date and the due dates are 2 different things. I talked about that on some other shows. The reporting date is when they batch it over every 30 days like clockwork. That's when it's reported. But your due date is when your payment is due. That has nothing to do with when they send it over. Because, for instance, let's just say they batch it over on the 20th of every month, but your due date is the 15th. If you pay it all by the 15th, whenever it hits on the 20th, you good. But the problem is if they batch it over on the 27th, if your credit card don't update until the 27th and you just paid the minimum payment on the 15th, and then you said, well, I need to eat lunch. I ain't got no more money until Friday. And then you went to the mall and then you decided to buy something else for $100. Whatever you paid it on time, but you messed yourself up because it's going to report that new balance. So that brings your score down. So how to boost your score up with credit cards is to pay it off, have a 0 balance, or to have a low balance. every credit, if I was you listening at this show and listening at us right now, if I was you, I would go look at my Credit Karma right now, or Experian, whatever credit monitoring site you have, go look at it. Every credit card that you have. I'm not talking about the student loans right now. That's a different show. Not talking about the car payment. That's a different show. Not talking about your other finance company loans and stuff like that. You can pay them off. That will boost it as well. But with your credit cards in particularly, if you have any credit cards, whether you have a lot like me or whether you have 2 or 3, it doesn't matter. Just keep them 0 or just pay them off. Pay them off tonight. Pay them off tomorrow, and make sure you get a receipt. That's how you boost your credit score. Yeah. And so the other thing about it is, when you got your credit card, did you feel different? And then I'll let you go because I'm not going to keep you all night. But when you got your credit card, we finally selected a place for you to get your credit card. How did you feel? And did you feel more empowered that the thing that we discussed literally came to pass? How did you feel?
Amen. Exactly, Casacello. I felt empowered that what we had discussed came to pass, and that I did not make it mean, because we attach meanings onto everything, and we have to ask ourselves, what are we making this mean for us?
Right.
And so for me, getting my credit repaired by you, first of all, was very empowering, needless to say, as well as liberating, because I knew that I was in good hands with you. So if you're on this line, please sign up with him. Also, I knew that I had a ram in the bush.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was tapping the untapped. I wasn't just laying dormant. Saying,
right.
Oh, well, one of these days, the man, he'll give me a break. I'll get some good credit one day. No, right. I had to meet the man 50-50 with the man I call God.
Right.
50-50. I can't pray, works without,
faith without works.
You got what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's dead.
It is.
I had to make the first attempt and take the action, and reaching out to you about it after having known you for almost a year.
Yeah.
I built up my trust and my respect for you, and I said, you know what? What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Absolutely. Now is no time better than now. And making up justifications and excuses, which we all are good at doing. I know I've been good at. And don't get me wrong, I got a shoe addiction. I got a shopping addiction. I got a lot of little things that I like, little obsessions. Absolutely. But them things can wait. They're going to be there. And my credit is long overdue. That score, baby, is long overdue now.
And that's another good saying. Fixing your credit is long overdue.
And my way did not work. And I surrendered to that, And so there's a lot of ways to do it. And to do it the legal, correct way is the only way to do it. And anything that Casacello charges, think about it, is so worth what all you're going to get back in parallel to that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, what else could you ask for? Whether it's 300, whether it's 175, it's so worth it. So do it. Sign up, and sign up now. What are you waiting for?
I was about to say amen, because I'm going to tell you, and see, I look as a businessman with all of my businesses that I have going on. I'm grateful to that. And I told a friend, I told Jocelyn that the other day we was having lunch, and I told her, I said, there's a lot, or we might have been riding in the car. I said, there's a lot of people that don't have what I have, or don't have the capability to get where I'm at or where I'm trying to go, because I'm not finished by a long shot. And I said, I'm so grateful. I said that not in arrogance. And I said that not because I'm trying to be such a much, as the old folks say, or trying to, promote myself. But I said that because there's something that happens in your spirit at 40, 50, 20, 19. Because I know some 28-year-olds that are millionaires. Do you hear what I'm saying? I still feel like I'm behind. They are young, but they got it. They got this together. You see what I'm saying?
And the discipline and the education behind it.
in order to make money. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, you talk about, well, money don't make you happy. It ain't gonna make you sad either. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And it ain't gonna make you feel bad because you can pay your light bill because it's too hot, it's too wet. I'm not sitting in no house and I don't have no running electricity, yada yada yada.
Or AC.
Absolutely.
I don't mess with no AC. I got a fan right here in my hand.
Absolutely. And when you're grateful, you come at it with a different perspective. And when you called me that night, honestly, we can't tell everything, but when you called me that night, you were ready. You were like, I'm ready, sign me up right now. And people have to get, Oprah calls it the aha moment, but that light bulb has to come on. And when you get to 50, when you get, you got more years behind you now. So you have to get to a place where, and I so admire that. And I applaud that to you and a lot of my customers that are doing that. It is life-changing. If you make a big deal out of this, you couldn't pay me not to pay $175 on Tuesdays or $300 on other days if it's going to change my life.
Amen. I'm willing to pay every fee I got to pay. And that's what I had to get to. You know, when I called Casasella to sign up, which I encourage each of you to do who are here on this line, I had to say to myself, look at all the money that you spend doing God knows what, everything else, everywhere else, for everybody else, everything else. And your credit score is jacked up, boo. At your age, you don't have it together. Like you appear to have it on the outside, but behind the scenes, there's a whole nother Oprah Winfrey going on. And
you in movies, and you talking to Trina Braxton, and you talking to Vanessa Williams, and you done met all of these people. I'm telling y'all, he knows everybody. I'm telling you, these are not people that don't know of him. They know it. I'm telling you.
Lunel Campbell's a good friend of mine. Maya Ali, Rain Pryor. These ladies, they have, Valerie Pettiford, Raquel Robinson. They have their credit scores together. I can't sit across from them at dinner and be like, well, I ain't got the bill. I ain't got my hair.
Yeah. And just like Sheila just said, you must invest in yourself. She did the same thing. And one thing that I do like about my own company, I will say this, I give you the real deal about credit restoration. And not only that, even my book that I have on Amazon.com. So the book is everything. It's
get it.
Everything. And so when I tell people, they say, well, I'm not used to reading. You need to read.
Well, you better get used to reading, especially if you plan on having money in your life and managing your money. You better read that fine print or get a lawyer. But
you know what, really, I'm glad I got you, because then I can just talk how I like to talk. Sometimes it really aggravates you when you see people. I appreciate the compliment, but if you stop by my page, it's there for business. We can, because let's just say somebody stopped by my page. Let me say this, because I know you can appreciate this. And they're really good looking. But if you got bad credit, that is not going to make me want to go out with you. I'm not going with you, period.
It's not sexy.
Because I already know I got to pay for the meal, because I'm not washing no dishes. I wash them at my house, but I ain't washing them at the restaurant.
Not at the restaurant.
The restaurant. I'm not doing it. So at the end of the day, I don't mind these ladies saying, hey, they want a big baller shot call, whatever the case may be, because your expectation has been raised. And if you have lifted your life up to a certain point, I don't blame you. I would not live beneath my privilege.
And I used to say back in the day, why are these women checking for these men's credit scores? And why are these men checking for these women's credit scores? And so on and so on. And I said, as I became into my 50s, I said, oh, I see why. Because you don't want your credit score that you work so hard to build to get jacked up fooling with a broke joker with no good credit. Because now he going to dip into your stuff and have you... well, you can just co-sign for this, baby, because you got to... No, I'm not co-signing.
Listen.
I ain't okay.
Listen.
Get your own credit together. I ain't co-signing nothing.
Lord, I know Jocelyn is dying. That's my home.
Jocelyn.
Listen, I got in my book a whole section, a good section about no co-signing. Don't ask me. I'm not doing it. It is just ridiculous. And the reason why I said how to boost your credit score, your score with credit cards, is because I'm telling you right now. Let me, Lord, let me say this as clear as I can, because I want this around the country.
Hallelujah.
FICO 8, FICO 9, whatever FICO score, whatever Vantage score that you get more points. More. That's all I can. The country coming out now. More points. I'm trying to say it proper, but the more coming out. You get more points when you have zero balance or you have a low balance. You get more because they calculate. They give you more points when it comes down to open and active credit cards. Somebody asked me not too long ago, well, if the credit card, I didn't like the company and I closed it. I hate to tell you this, it has happened to me too. If you close a credit card, even if you paid it, never was late, but you just closed it because you don't like the service of the company, you still are going to lose some points. And what's going to happen is, watch this, what's going to happen, the system is not going to be able to give you points for that credit card, because nothing from nothing is what? Nothing.
Leave nothing.
It's zero. They don't have anything to calculate anymore.
Which reminds me of the other famous saying, if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Nothing changes.
We've got to do something different in order to get different results. Doing the same thing, expecting different results is called insanity. So we've got to change the cycle, whether our parents did it, whether our grandparents did it, auntie, cousins, uncle, sister, brother. Do something different.
But you know what? Let me piggyback off that real quick. You know what? That's what's messing people up. That traditional thinking and that poverty mentality. And some people are okay with that. That means I just can't reach those people because I'm trying to speak something to a person that's not ready to receive that. And so if you're not ready to receive, you know what, I'm getting ready to teach you, because it's all about, as Sheila has said, and many people have said, discipline. You have to have discipline enough. And the same thing I said to you, you were so happy when you got that card. You were so happy and you was rejoicing. And I kept sending celebration stuff or whatever. But immediately I text you back and I said, wait a minute. I said that the purpose I went from celebrating to whooping.
To whooping, yeah, whoop butt.
I said the purpose of that card, the purpose is for you to escalate your credit score, to raise your credit score. And you was like, yes. And that's what it takes when you hook up with a company that is seasoned. And what I mean, they know what they're talking about, because I would say this. Some people used to say, well, I went to Lexington Law and they didn't do anything, but you didn't do your part either. I don't know what they did. I can't really say what they did. It ain't my job to say what they did, because you paid your money, boo. But what I can tell you, 90% of people are lazy. And that's a big percentage. 90% of them want something for nothing, or they think it's instantly going to come off in 30 days. And I don't blow smoke up they Tootie Rudy like that just to get $1.
And they resist change. Unfortunately, I'm not one of those people. My whole life has been, as much as I have fought for stability and consistency, I had to actually adapt to God's will and become more flexible in my thinking and not be in that small little tiny box where this is what I know and this is what they did when I was little. And I had to think outside the box. I had to open my mind, and I had to trust somebody like Casacello to handle my credit, because the evidence is in the pudding. I obviously, if I could have done it, I would have done it by 51 years, you think? By 51 years, I would have got it together. It hasn't come together. And there's, like he said, there's a laziness in our mentality. We don't always mean physical laziness, but in our thinking and our willingness to be disciplined and structured and to keep this precious gem growing and keep it separate. Please sign up. Do yourself a favor. You're worth it. Your children are worth it.
Absolutely.
Your people that you're leaving inheritance with is worth it. It's a big credit covers, and it touches all areas in our lives.
Yes.
It's not just, let me get that fur coat, or let me get this Botox, or let me get that. It's not that.
Right. And you know what? Some places you can't even do business with them if you don't have a credit card, like renting a car. And then, you know, you're going to pay. Who wants to pay first, last, and a deposit like they do in Florida? I think it's ridiculous. first, last, and a deposit. But if you have excellent credit, or if you have good credit, if you're on your way to building your credit, as I said, rebuilding when I talked about Nehemiah, at the end of the day, building and starting over, it hurts. It doesn't always feel good, but it's necessary. It's necessary to get to the level that you try. I live on the level, and I be doggone. My mother was a hard worker. My mother was wonderful. But I promise you, I'm not going back on. If I eat pork and beans and hot dogs, it's because I choose to eat them. I ain't going back because I don't have enough money. I don't have enough credit to get my stuff. And I don't want, now I will take, now if somebody got some stuff and they want to drop off some money, some credit, and come take a brother out, I don't have a problem with that. Now, I'm not telling you, well, I'm gonna just be the big ball and I got to pay for everything. No, because I believe you should sow seeds one, into each other. And there's a balance, because you don't want a person having to pay for everything.
No, you don't want that. It's not fair, and it builds up resentment. And I don't want to go back to cheese. I love cheese grits, but I was raised on cheese grits and Nathan Franks and Oodles and Noodles and grape juice from Giant Food Market.
Right.
I don't want to do that in my adult life, and thank God I haven't had to. Now, when I want some cheese grits, I'll get it with some shrimp or some catfish or something like that,
Or go to J. Alexander. Like I tell people, the reason why I go, that bill can easily escalate up to, or Papados, it could easily escalate up to $150 or $200. I know how it is. I'm not minimizing anybody's struggle, because a $200 debt is just like a $1 million debt to anybody. Your debt is your debt, and you can't tell me how to feel. You can't tell me, well, I was lazy all my life. There are sometimes, I've watched it in the retail sector, and I'm going to say something, and then we're going to end. The time almost out now. We done talked it all the way. So at the end of the day, through this pandemic, if it didn't teach you anything, you better get a hustle. I don't care if you bake cookies, whatever it is, you better have a backup and a hustle, because them checks ain't going to always come in, boo.
They ain't.
Look, they did this to the unemployed. Hi-ya! They did. They cut that unemployment. They cut them checks. Now that's $600. That $1,000, a lot of people was getting every week. That was some good money. They was making more with unemployment. But if you would have took out $200 and saved that, or paid your credit card bill off, what did they do? No, I got to go down to Miami. Yeah. They went on they had to go to Miami. They were going to Chicago. They didn't want to wear their good old mask. They didn't want to, they were spending. Now that the checks is cut and they evicting people, fix my credit. Now you can fix credit.
Priorities are screwed up. We got to keep our priorities in check and look at that bigger picture, not that instant gratification. Them parties, that twerking, them thongs, the sisters, the brothers, the shot callers, all that stuff, that's going to be there always and forever. You're not going to do nothing. If you can't be there, you can watch it on live. You can go on live and watch it.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. So how to boost your credit score with credit cards: zero balance or low balance. Zero balance or low balance. That's how you boost your credit card. You can instantly do it. I promise you it works. If you have any balance on your, many of you think that it's just the collection that's messing you up. That's a contributing factor, but that's not the main factor. Some people think it's the inquiries, but I beg to differ. 9 times out of 10, when I look at a credit report, is when I see you got a $300 credit limit, or you got a $1,000 credit limit, or you got a $2,000 credit limit, and you have maxed that out to $1,990, your score is going in the toilet.
You're losing your points. Use it for little things. Keep it under 100. Keep your charges under 100, right? At 10%.
No, yes, 10. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, yeah. So you want to keep it 10%. That is exceptional credit. That is Casasello rule, and that is what I've always done. Now, personally, and you're gonna say, well, you trying to pop your collar, and I will. I pay my stuff off. I don't carry balances like that.
So 10% off of the credit line that you're given for that credit card.
Correct. So, and here's another thing. Let's just say something comes up, like my grandmother passed away, and you have to go to the hotel. That's another thing. Hotel, they didn't want to see no debit card. And another thing, and I'm gonna tell you another thing that was ticking me off at the Marriott and all of that stuff. They was holding $175 and $150. Now, what if I only had enough money to pay for the room and that was it? But they had already swiped my mess and told me, "Oh, you'll get it back, once you check out." I didn't tell you to do that. But I didn't worry about it because I knew I had plenty. I had plenty on.
Gracious plenty, as my grandmother Alice Verdell Robinson Honey Bunch used to say. It's a gracious plenty.
Yes. And so my thing is, you don't want to be in a position where you can't grow. You're growing, and that's what I see. It's good that you got that green background. It's for growth.
Amen.
You're growing, and that's what I feel for you. You grow it because. And what I said today, and I wrote this down. I said, what survived through the pandemic, and while we're still going through the pandemic, because it ain't over. Y'all think it's over. I'm wondering, it ain't over. I said, well, what kept making money when we was going through the heavy part of the pandemic? What kept making money? It was the medical community. They kept saying the nurses and stuff, but they were still getting paid.
They were getting paid.
Dr. Fauci still got paid. Dr. Deborah still got paid. What else was thriving through the pandemic? The food stores, the grocery stores. They still making money. Matter of fact, the grocery stores didn't see a deficit because the pandemic came in. They was making all kinds of money.
Right.
The other thing was retail, because they knew when they gave y'all those checks, y'all were gonna go to the retail store and buy all kinds of stuff.
And build the economy back up.
Retail was still making more money. And I'm going to tell you another thing that thrived while the pandemic, and is still thriving, is the housing market. The housing market, I'm telling you, the interest rates are low, but they jacked up the prices of the houses. All right. So now it's a term in the real estate community. It's a term called the seller's market. So now the sellers are treating the buyers any kind of way, and there's a bidding war and all of that kind of stuff. And next week, I'm going to share some stuff with y'all that I ain't going to share this week. But it is the housing market. It kept thriving. So for me, with your new credit card, congratulations. With your new system and your new, I call it credit journey. That's why I always tell my clients, congratulations on your new credit journey, because that's what it is, a month-to-month credit journey, and you're going to be just fine.
Thank you so much, Casasella. I feel it in my bones.
Well, I appreciate you. Well, that's the end of our show. I tell you, he was only supposed to stay for the first segment. I told him, when time flies.
When you're having fun.
I'm going to have him come back when we can come, all this COVID mess is over. We're going to have him, so I can cook. I'm going to have him on the cooking and credit show.
Baby, you got to get a taste of his food. Your life won't be the same. I just can tell you that much.
Listen, I can throw that out on a pork chop, I promise you.
What? That pork chop had me smacking and trying to get down to the marrow, baby. I said, I know the gristle is gone and the meat, but now let me just suck on this bone.
Yeah, so it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for
it's an honor. It's an honor.
Rocking with me. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Everybody's saying congratulations on your credit card. Thank you, Sheila.
Thank you, Sheila.
You so well. Now I'm so grateful. Everybody tuned in tonight and all of that. We're gonna be back next week. I'll be back next week, and I got a special guest. I got a real estate broker gonna be on next week, and we're gonna be talking about the housing market.
Oh, I want to hear that.
Yeah, so I got an announcement I'm gonna make on next week. I'm gonna save it to next week and all that good stuff. But anywho, listen, it's still not too late. It's 10 o'clock right now. We're getting ready to end. So every Tuesday night, if you sign up before 12 midnight, you can get it for $175. $175. All right. If you sign up now, if it hits 12 o'clock midnight, it's a new day. It's $300, the regular price, but it'll still change your life. All right. And also, let me admonish you to go and get that book. Some of y'all still have not got your book. Go to Amazon.com and purchase your copy of Teach Me How to Fix My Credit. Now I got to go because I got me some famous meatballs. My mother's birthday was July 19th. God rest her soul. And so I made some of her meatballs today. So I'm going to have some good old green beans and rice and meatball. Ooh, it's going to be wonderful. You're crazy, boy. So thank you to everybody. Thank you to all my guests. Thank you so much. I will see you next Tuesday night. Brandon, you got anything you want to say before we get out?
Just remember to surrender to win. And you can use that motto and that affirmation in all areas of your life. Sometimes the battle just isn't yours, and every fight isn't yours. Let somebody else do the battle, preferably the Lord's.
Absolutely.
That's all I can say.
I'm going to end with his saying, surrender to win. I'll see you next week.
Bye.
Fix my credit. I'm going to buy that brand new home. Fix my credit. I'm going to pay off my student loan. Fix my credit. No more paying my bills late. Fix my credit. I need a better interest rate. Fix my credit. That credit is gone way too far. Fix my credit. I need a brand